Let's have a little talk. Four things that your man needs from you. Now, after we go through these four things, we're going to talk about why it's important that you give him the four things that he needs. Okay? All right, so let's go. The first one's respect. Okay? Respect. A man needs respect from his woman the way you ladies need attention, affirmation, validation, appreciation, all those shuns that y'all need. Well, a man just needs respect from you. Now, look, this respect that I'm talking about, you don't get it to some boy. I'm talking about this is the guy that you want to spend the rest of your life with. This is the guy that you're taking serious. This is the man that you're married to or want to get married to. This is the respect that you give him. How do you respect a man? You respect the way you respect your boss at work. How do you respect your boss at work? Well, guess what? You listen to him. That was a bug right there. You listen to what he says. You do what he says, right? If it's within reason, but if it's within the parameters of the job, right? You don't talk to him any old kind of way. You don't call him out his name. You don't do any of that. You do what the job requires, okay? Well, guess what? To be with a man that's about his business is a job. There are requirements. You just being there is not enough. It's not enough at all. All I got to do is, well, I'm here, ain't I? That's not good enough. You have to give him the same effort as you require from him to keep him. Okay? So let's go back to the boss analogy. On that job, you do what the job's required. If you want to move up in the company, what do? You think of ways to do your job better. You think of ways to improve the company. You think of ways to enhance your job performance. Well, it's the same thing when you're dealing with a man. Make suggestions to him to help him be a better man. It may be business ideas or how to deal with somebody that's getting on his nerves or whatever. Be there. Be there in a way that you add value to your man. Because a man that's about his business, he needs more than just coochie and company. So let's get that out the way. So respect him the way you respect your boss at work. Now, I'm not saying to allow him to belittle you or treat you less than what your self worth is, because you ain't gonna let the boss do that either, right, ladies? Okay. So I'm saying respect him within the parameters. Respect him within reason. Hmm. Appreciation. Hmm. Appreciate him like you would appreciate your pet. Oh, you got a dog. You love the dog. You dog people out there, or you cat people, whatever. How do you treat your pet? What do? You appreciate them when they do what they're supposed to do. You do any and everything to make them happy, to make their tail wag, to make them lick you in the face, or whatever you do with your particular pet. Well, your man requires the same thing. You know what makes him happy, right? You treat him the same way you treat your pet. If he gets sick, what do? You take him to the vet, right? You make sure he gets well. You know your pet can't do but so much for himself, so you are mommy to the pet. Well, sometimes you gotta be mommy to your man too. Not that he can't do it for himself, but it's just something about your woman looking after you that builds a bond that a man has with his woman. Hmm. The next thing is affection and sex. They kind of work hand in hand. Now, affection, give him the kind of affection you give him when you want something from him. When you want him to do something he don't necessarily want to do, what do? You smile at him, you're nice to him, you hug him, you rub him, almost to the point where he's like, girl, I know you want something. And you just smile. I don't want nothing. I just think you're so handsome and you're so strong and you're so blah, 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 blah. He needs that from you. He wants to be appreciated by his woman. Now, as far as the sex is concerned, If his sex drive is higher than yours, then guess what? Sometimes you got to take one for the team, baby. You may not feel like it at that time, but you got to take one for the team just to keep him happy. Now, and if it gets to a point where it becomes unhealthy, then that's something y'all need to talk about. But you might have to agree that once a week, 2 times a week, 3, 4 times a week is different with every couple. But you have to satisfy his physical needs. That's actually scripture. You're not supposed to deny your husband or husband. I can't say man because that's not biblical. But anyway, you catch my drift on that. He needs you. He can't get that stuff from his homeboys. He can't get that stuff from his pet. He can't get that stuff from his kids. He needs that from you, ladies. All right. Next thing is loyalty. Loyalty. Loyalty and trust run hand in hand. Let's deal with loyalty first. Your loyalty to your child, whether he's right, wrong, or indifferent when it comes to worldly things. If someone, whether he started a fight or not, you're still going to make sure that your child's okay and that nobody harms him. You'll discipline him when he comes home. Same thing with your child when they do something wrong in the house. When they do something wrong in the house, what do? You discipline him, let him know he's wrong, but you continue to love him. You don't run around holding grudges and not speaking to him and talking junk about your children to your girlfriends and all this, that, and the other. Well, down on them. Y'all might talk about the kids, but you don't say, my child ain't this and my child ain't that. You may say, my child did this, my child did that, but you don't down your kid and say he's retarded and stupid. You don't talk to your child like that. Well, you don't talk to your man like that either. That's part of loyalty. Trust. They kind of work hand in hand. Trust. He has to trust you. And you have to establish that trust. Trust meaning that you won't hurt him where it hurts. What does that mean? His vulnerable areas. I'll go into an extreme example. I think I've used this before in one of my other videos. That let's say he was raped when he was a child by his uncle. And you get to argument with him and you say, and that's why you was raped by your... He has to trust you won't do that. He has to trust that you won't go tell your girlfriends that or your mother that or whatever. He has to trust the fact that the problems that you have between the two of you don't wind up in your mother's ear, your daddy's ear, your girlfriend's ear or whatever. You got to keep that stuff in house. Another trust, of course, is the obvious one, that you won't go and have sex or develop a relationship with another man. We got to have trust. So that's 4 things. We need respect, appreciation, affection, and we got to have loyalty and trust. Why is that important? What if I give this man all these things and he still cheats on me? That's your biggest fear, right? That we're going to cheat on you? Or he still does me wrong or whatever. What if that happens? What if I go through all that and he winds up hurting me anyway, right? Because definitely it takes a level of vulnerability and sensitivity to do all these things for your man. I mean, yes. I mean, listen, you got to give him something that he can't get nowhere else. There's nothing like being touched and smiled at by the woman you love. That's a touch that can't be duplicated by any other woman. Your femininity, your sensitivity, your warmth, your understanding, just the sound of your voice is enough. You don't look. It's really hard to get somewhere with a man hollering and screaming at him. If you want to get him to do something, you holler and scream. Yes, if you holler and scream at him, me tell you why he's doing it. It's to get you to shut up. But if you encourage him while you're asking him to do something, he'll do it because he wants to do it, not because he wants to shut you up. All right? So, to go back to what we were saying before. Why would I do all those things to this man and for this man and he winds up hurting me anyway? I'm glad you asked. If you bring all 4 things to the table and he still messes up and he leaves you or you leave him, he will hurt like never before. You don't know what you got till it's gone. If your man's taking you for granted enough to leave you or betray you after doing all four of those things, number one, it's going to hurt him like he's never heard it before. And number two, you can leave saying that you did all you could to keep it together and that you did your absolute best. And it wasn't a waste. Oh, I wasted my time doing it. No, 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 no. It was a learning experience. Anytime there's a loss, ladies, there is a lesson to be learned. No, not to do it again, to get better at what it is to be a woman. So until we talk again, peace and hair grease.